All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Thursday, June 5th. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live in studio. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat. So Clayton, I'm back in the New York groove. We're here in studio previewing a big weekend. This is, I would say, a huge weekend because Lionsgate's entire 2025 is riding on this weekend. This is like Christmas week for a toy store.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make their entire nut this weekend, or they will not nut. And we are going to find out this weekend whether with Ballerina, Lionsgate makes its nut or does not nut.
Yeah.
Much like, again, toy store, Christmas, that's the big saying. Will this toy store nut or not nut?
Yes.
And we're going to find out. I mean, right off the bat, let's get into this, Ballerina. Do you think
Were you calling me Ballerina?
Let's get it into this Ballerina.
Oh, okay.
Comma, Ballerina. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because you're always dancing around these topics like a ballerina.
Yeah.
And sometimes you fall on your face and split your, forehead open like a ballerina does. Do you think Lionsgate will nut this weekend? Will they make their nut or never nut? Because this is it. This is their big one for the year.
Well, I also have this in our summer movie draft.
Oh, wow.
So this is a big weekend for me because, if this nuts,
yes,
then I get that extra point for being number one.
Yep.
But if not, Lilo and Stitch
gets a third week, which is another bonus.
Yeah, so that's bad.
Yeah.
I need to, for everybody in the league,
yeah,
I need to block this three-peat.
Yeah, I mean, Austin, the OG Austin, he has the big duo right now. He's got Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, and he's got Lilo and Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
So he's ranking up the points.
Yeah.
And we will, and we are YouTubers. Hey, guys. So this is my direct-to-camera promise. We are going to get a bonus special episode soon with all of the competitors from the league and do an update on where we are in the league because so much is going on now. But, yeah, you've got Ballerina. So you're in bed with Lionsgate. Of all the studios to slink into bed with.
I know.
You are in there with Lionsgate, but at least you've got the one movie of theirs this year that could actually do Buffalo.
Well, but wait, isn't there a Hunger Games movie coming out this year or no? Am I wrong about
I do
this?
not think there's a Hunger Games
later in the year, no?
I do not think so.
Okay.
I mean, we'll double check, of course, in the comments below in the YouTube.
Scream at me.
Scream at Clayton. Yes, actually, there's a Hunger Games movie, but I don't think so. I think Songbirds and Snakes 2 years ago. I don't think anything else is actually in production since.
Okay.
I don't think there's a Rachel Zegler return happening.
No.
But I don't think so. I think this is it for Lionsgate, is Ballerina. It's from the John Wickiverse. It is from is that what they say now on the poster? From the universe of John Wick.
Yeah. I mean, this is smart. I mean, okay, it's not artistic, but it's smart marketing.
Sure.
Which that's what these movies are. I mean, this is a blatant attempt to keep the John Wick juices flowing while they work on 5. Which I'll be honest with you, I know Lionsgate needed a win. They needed to announce something. You need to say something was coming down the pike to save them further from falling into this just spiral of releasing constant garbage.
Right.
But I'm upset that they announced 5 before this movie opened.
That was a bad move, yeah.
Because if they would have kept to 4, he's dead. No more John Wick.
Right.
This movie happens between the other movies.
This happens between 3 and 4.
So you'll get John Wick in this movie, and that's it forever. People would more likely rush to this movie.
Right.
Now, the reshoots were done, which a lot of times you hear reshoots, that's bad. This is good because the reshoots gave us John Wick in this movie.
Yes.
So the reshoots are good. But I wish that it meant more than it means now, which is, you'll see John in his own movie in 2 years.
But do you think, So your issue is that they did preemptively announce that Keanu Reeves will be back in a proper John Wick 5.
Yeah, announce that after
do
this
you
movie.
think that has seeped through to Joe Lunchpail, to the Earth Dogs, to the Plain Billies, to the Stacks Dwellers? Do you think that they are fully aware that there will be a John Wick 5 with Keanu Reeves, or was that mainly for the trades and for CinemaCon and for, of course, Cinema United? If you are watching us on YouTube, you're seeing Clayton show off the Cinema United hat from CinemaCon from Jeff Bach of Exhibit Relations Co. Great man. We hung out in LA this weekend, and we shared pie.
I was not there.
You were not there. I shared pie with the man.
Yeah.
I shared pie with Jeff Bach.
What an LA experience.
Oh, of course.
That or being caught in a wildfire. Those are the two LA experiences now, because they don't shoot any movies there anymore. So it's either pie or...
Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to pivot. They're pivoting to pie, and we'll see how it goes. It was a good slice of pie.
Yeah.
But you're wearing the hat. So CinemaCon, do you think that the news of John Wick 5 really reached the public, or do they think, oh, this might be my only chance to see John Wick in Ballerina this weekend, to see Keanu? I don't know if the public really knows that the next one is in development.
That's true. How tapped in are they? Because are the John Wick fans as obsessed with lore and extended universe as the MCU fans, who would know everything at all times?
Right.
The John Wick fans, to make it what it became, you have to have certain, this is just, when I see it out, I go.
Right.
Like when they see John Wick on the poster, that's when they know that movie's happening.
Right.
Well, they go to the movie theater, they're waiting at the subway, or there's a cab that goes by,
right,
or they go to the mall and they walk by on their way to get an Orange Julius, and the cinema's right there.
Right.
The Megaplex, and they look and they see Ballerina, John Wick. Oh, I'm going this weekend.
Yeah.
Or whenever it comes out.
Yeah. I do think a lot of the public, they're not aware that they're going to have more John Wick coming. Now, I think the thing with Ballerina is, because they did do the reshoots to get Keanu in the movie. Because they originally shot the movie with no Keanu, no John Wick.
Yeah.
And then they filmed to get him in the movie.
Great move.
But do you think that people think there will be enough of him for it to be worth them going?
He's prominently in the trailer.
Okay.
The latest trailers I've seen for this movie, those characters meet.
Right.
So it's enough to get you your butt in the seats, at least for weekend one.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're counting on the public right now not being savvy enough to know that there will be another John Wick movie in the next couple of years, and not savvy enough to know that most likely Keanu Reeves is going to be in about 3 minutes of this movie, even though he's prominent in the trailer.
It's that sort of...
So I have heard, and I will not release sources, I have heard boots on the ground reporting, having seen this Ballerina film, that this is akin to a Bruce Willis geezer teaser situation.
Ooh.
That is the word that I've gotten. I will not reveal my sources. It is not a pie-based source. I could put that to bed right now.
Yeah.
It has been put to bed direct here on YouTube. Hey guys.
Yeah.
That Keanu Reeves basically came in to do a day or less of shooting, and they strewn that throughout, the way that in those late-stage Bruce Willis movies, he would show up for about 8 minutes and they'd put his character in a closet and then keep cutting to the closet every once in a while.
Yeah.
That is apparently what is happening in Ballerina.
Well, it's also when a actor will suddenly come to prominence and become a bigger star, and then there's a movie sitting on the shelf that they were a background actor in.
Yes.
Or
had one nude scene.
Yeah, one nude scene. Then they released that movie with them prominently on the cover.
Yes. And I rent it because Gillian Anderson is on the cover of this VHS for a movie she did a scene in pre-X-Files.
Yes.
But she's in the movie for 2 minutes, but that's the cover of the VHS box, and I am getting it at Blockbuster. And yeah, there's late fees.
And it was so much. It was so much.
And other penalties.
Other penalties.
Other penalties.
Yeah, because they can tell.
They know.
Yeah.
They know. Yeah. And listen, it is what it is, what it is. But yeah, those situations.
It was easier to snooker you back then
yes.
than it is now. Because there is, I mean, as much as we say, are they savvy? Are these fans savvy? Everybody is on their phone to some extent. And so they're bound to have something trickle down to them in a way that wouldn't happen if you're getting that VHS.
Right.
And I'm talking about different sorts of trickling down, obviously.
Yeah. And they know.
Yeah.
And it trickled.
It trickled. So this is going to be an interesting weekend because Ana De Armas, she's someone
whose name we hadn't said, and she is the titular ballerina. And titular means title character.
But so, let's be yeah, absolutely. Thank you for clarifying that. So the thing with this is that is she somebody who brings anybody to this movie?
Right. Is she anybody? Are you anybody?
Or is it all John Wick? And I'm feeling like, she was somebody who was supposed to pop off pre-pandemic, had the Ben Affleck situation, now has a Tom Cruise situation. And that's sort of...
Does anyone believe... Okay, what is more believable to the general public right now? That John Wick, Keanu Reeves is a major part of this ballerina movie, or that Ana De Armas and Tom Cruise are a romantic couple?
John Wick.
John Wick. Okay.
Hands down.
Which is great for ballerina.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen this...
Should that be a survey? When you go see a movie opening weekend and they have who made you come see this movie?
Yeah.
What genre do you love? It should be, what do you believe more? Well, I guess you would have already seen Ballerina, but basically...
Well, just ask if you believe...
Yeah.
If you believe that this is real.
Yeah. Do you believe in life after love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you believe in Tom Cruise and Ana De Armas as a couple?
Yeah.
Do you believe that is true?
Yeah, yeah.
Just ask that. I mean, listen, Civil War, they asked you how you vote.
Yeah.
They asked you for the last 3 presidents you voted for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they can ask you anything at this point. They can ask you what religion you are, I guess, too.
Wow.
They can ask what you're up to in the bedroom.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I wouldn't have answered that after I rented the Gillian Anderson movie in
they know.
1999. No.
There's no need to ask you that question.
They know.
They know.
So
they took the VHS back.
Yeah.
Corner.
Yeah.
The corner hold.
Yeah. And it didn't crease anymore.
Yep.
So this movie then, Ana De Armas, we were saying. She was supposed to pop off. I don't know if she popped off quite like they planned it.
Or like you popped off when you watched that Jillian.
I mean, the cover of the VHS box.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had to do it.
You lost
They had to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't find the cover.
It's
irrecoverable.
Yeah.
I don't think she means anything in the sense that obviously she's not popped off to become an Emma Stone or Jennifer Lawrence.
But even like a Charlize who
of course,
you sold the Atomic Blonde with.
Right. No, she's not that. And then, Charlize became a star in a time when you could still become a movie star.
Oh, yeah.
A lot harder now. But I also don't think she is a detriment. Like, I don't think the public cares one way or the other on Ana De Armas, which is not where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, it could be worse.
Yeah.
She could be like actively turning people away from going to see a movie that she's in. And I don't think that happened. She's been in things that people have liked, and that she had a scene that people liked in a James Bond movie. But I mean, that's a James Bond movie that people really do not care about. The one where
although what I'll say,
what she'll say,
is that there was a lawsuit.
Okay.
From but this is how time passes and the law is slow as molasses.
Mm-hmm.
Is that there was a lawsuit about the movie? What was it called? It was called. Was it called Imagine? What was it called? No.
Hypnotic?
No. The one with the Beatles. The guy
Yes,
who...
yesterday. Yes. Okay, this is a great lawsuit. I love this lawsuit.
Ana De Armas was in the trailer. This was when she was at her... She's going to break anytime soon. She's going to pop off
pre-pandemic, right? Like
soon. Yes.
Summer 2019, this movie comes out, maybe?
Was it 20? I mean, the pandemic has totally destroyed time and space. So
Danny Boyle's Yesterday.
Yeah.
I'll look
a movie that I really did like, but she was cut out of the movie. But
I love the joke that the Oasis wouldn't exist if the Beatles didn't exist, because Oasis stinks.
Nailed them.
Yeah.
The trailer had Ana De Armas in it.
Mm-hmm.
Got cut out of the movie, and there was a lawsuit against, I believe, was it Universal?
I think it was Universal, yeah.
Because fans of Ana De Armas were upset that they were sold a bill of goods. That this hot up-and-coming actor was not in the film, and that's why they win.
2019. It was summer 2019.
I could not see that lawsuit happening now. If there was a trailer for a movie, Ana De Armas was in the trailer and was cut out of the movie, no one's suing.
Right.
So that's how far she's fallen. But, I mean, it was a peak. It was a height. I mean, I don't know of any other person who sued anybody over an actor being in a trailer and then not being in the movie.
Yeah, that is a situation where if you're Lionsgate, man, you wish Ballerina was coming out right after that lawsuit was filed.
Yeah.
Because then you would know, man, there's a psychotic, which is what you want. You want a rabid, psychotic fan base for a star.
Yes.
When their movie comes out. Do you think the people who filed that lawsuit will see Ballerina opening weekend? Because that is damning if they don't go. The people who sued a studio because she was in a trailer and not in the movie, they have to go this weekend, right?
I feel like if I was the judge for this case,
yes,
I give them the money, but I decree that they have to see every Ana De Armas movie opening weekend for the rest of their lives.
Or they have to give the money back, they owe the state.
Yeah, absolutely. They owe the state for the trial and everything.
Yes,
so they must make a pilgrimage out to wherever they need to go to see every Ana De Armas movie opening weekend.
Yeah, forever.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Holiday, maybe the Monday, but you know. And I'm gonna have someone come around and check.
They should
check stubs.
They should have a like a ankle bracelet, like an electronic monitor forever on their ankles to make sure that when an Ana De Armas movie comes out, they go opening weekend. And if not, Monday morning comes, they haven't seen the movie, that ankle bracelet just like collapses, like breaks their ankles. So that they can't move, and then just a giant loud siren starts going off.
So you want the ankle bracelet to be like a saw trap?
Yes.
Because they don't really do that. Usually it's just the cops show up.
No, this has to be, you have to make sure they can't get away. So,
why isn't it around their neck then? And their head will explode.
No, because it's not a death penalty. It's not a death penalty. It's not a death penalty. You want them to be able to be found, tried, give the money back, and then they have to, do menial labor for the
That's true.
The state.
Their head explodes, it'd be very hard to get the money back.
Yes. So that's the most important thing. So that better be how that case was settled, and those litigants better be seeing Ballerina this weekend. That should also be on the exit survey for Ballerina is, did you sue a movie studio over Ana De Armas not being in Yesterday in 2019?
Yes. I mean, are you court ordered to see this movie? Like,
yes.
What percentage and what was the racial, age, gender breakdown of these? What did you call them? Litigants.
Yeah. Was that a lawsuit where then thousands of people signed on? You know how sometimes
class action?
Yeah, class action lawsuit where someone gets, sick from something that was in the water supply, and then everyone in the town is like, oh, I could jump on this. I could also sue. And listen, they got sick from the water supply, so God bless them, they should sue. But then you have
But a lot of them were chugging after the fact.
Yeah.
They found out it was poison. They knew there was some money involved. They're going down to the river and they're chugging.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they're people like, actually, I just drank seltzers from my fridge the whole time. I never drank water. But they got on the case and they got some money, class action, good for them. I wonder if that's the case here where you had the original 3-4 nutballs who sued the studio over her not being in the movie, and then you had thousands of people just jumped on this class action lawsuit.
So it was a class action lawsuit.
It was. Okay, so then...
But it did not get... did not go to trial, it looks like.
Okay. So it was settled. So that could be then potentially thousands of people who joined a class action lawsuit to sue that Ana De Armas had not been in the film yesterday, who I would hope are legally bound to see Ballerina this weekend as part of the settlement. And if that is the case, that's good for Lionsgate this weekend.
Yeah.
Because that is a lot of people. A class action lawsuit could be thousands and thousands of people on there who may have to see this movie as part of their settlement.
So the two people who initiated this, Peter Michael Roja and Connor Wolf, they were the two who tried to get this going.
Okay.
And they, I feel like, since they were not able to get this going, they should have to go see every Ana De Armas movie.
Yes.
I do think for wasting Universal's time and wasting the courts and the taxpayers'
But here's
time.
the thing: if you were to interview them and ask them, "Are you going to see Ballerina this weekend?"
They might not, because they're not legally binded to.
Well, yeah, and if that's the case, and they're like, "What's that?" That's a bad sign for this movie. If those two guys should be either legally obligated or just really want to see this Ana De Armas.
So I'm going to camera,
okay,
because we are YouTubers. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
And I butchered the names, but you know who I'm talking about. And if you're out there and you are them or you know them, you know who I'm talking about, right? Because we're talking about a very specific lawsuit. If you are them or you know them, contact us at theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. We would love to have you on.
Okay.
And see if you actually went to see this movie. And don't lie. And if you didn't see this movie, why not? And what happened?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a real barometer of where her star power is now. You know, because she was in... The other thing is she's been in the John Wick movie, because she was in John Wick 4, was where the ballerina was introduced.
Never watched it.
And she had a ballerina action scene, the same way she had like a cameo action scene in... Well, actually, now that I think of it, I don't know if Ana De Armas was in John Wick Chapter 4. I mean, I did see that movie. They introduced...
You were so sure when you were saying...
I was so sure when I was saying, well, they definitely introduced the concept of ballerinas.
Well, that's for sure, and they did that previous to 4.
Yeah, she might not have been in these up to this point. Am I just thinking of Knock Knock in terms of Ana De Armas being in a movie with Keanu Reeves?
With Keanu Reeves. I mean, I'm always thinking about Knock Knock.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be the case.
From the world of John Wick is what this movie is.
Yeah, because the concept of ballerinas.
She is not in.
She's not in it. So this is her first time in a John Wick-averse movie. She's taking over the role of these ballerinas that have been introduced. Yeah, it's not even like they're spinning off a known character. They're spinning off a introduced concept of characters from a previous movie. This isn't like Halle Berry's character from Chapter 3 is getting her own movie.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's just go over her filmography since she popped in Knives Out in 2019.
Okay.
Pre-pandemic.
And that's when people are suing to get her in movies.
And she had a notable part in Blade Runner 2049 in 2017. People were saying, who is this person? Okay.
In that movie, was she like the big hologram of a woman that you drive through in the street?
She was she was the companion robot AI hologram or whatever.
Got it.
I slept through most of that movie.
You did.
So then 2021, No Time to Die. Of course, go back in the archives. First movie to flee.
Yeah.
I don't think James Bond will ever recover because I know, listen, things happened and movies had to move. James Bond turned tail and ran. First. We saw the yellow tail of James Bond.
Yeah.
And that will forever scar that franchise. I don't think they should even bring it back. The search for the new Bond, who are you going to find as cowardly as the last one is my question.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be very hard to find that. So then we have Deepwater, which was a movie that came out that had a lot of buzz. It was the Ben Affleck, Ana De Armas movie where they had met. And
Adrian Lyne directed it, right? Yes, I did watch that.
And that came out on, I believe it dropped on Hulu, right?
I think it was
with a thunk.
Yes.
Then you have Gray Man, The Gray Man,
a
Netflix stinker from 2022. You have Blonde, which she did get an Oscar nom, which is nuts. So there's still some goodwill there, but she had no chance, and nobody remembers that movie.
Yeah. Other than that being a movie, if people think about that Oscar nom, it's just to talk about like, oh, I hate that movie.
Yes.
I can't believe she got an Oscar nomination for that evil movie.
Yeah.
But she did get the Oscar nomination, so that's a win.
And then a Crapple TV Plus stinker, Ghosted.
Oh my God, her and Chris Evans.
Yes.
Another
nobody.
Not
a nobody. He's Captain America, but as anything but, he's a zero.
Yeah. I mean, off topic, but have you seen the new release scene for The Materialist that dropped today? That movie is going to be, we'll talk about it next week because I think it goes wide the 16th. That movie is going to be the stinker of all stinkers.
Wow.
That scene that they dropped, it is 3 comatose actors.
Yeah.
Just all in a coma together in one movie. That's going to be disaster. But yeah.
But I mean, and then a movie called Eden in 2024, or is it? It is a movie.
I think that's like another Streamo. That might be an Amazon.
Oh, it's a Ron
Prime movie.
Howard movie starring Jude Law, Ana De Armas, and Vanessa Kirby.
Did that come out yet, or is that coming out this year?
That I think it came out.
I do think that might be a case where what you're looking at has a year tied to like a film festival, but I think this movie Eden is a later this year situation.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. So that's possible. I mean, Ron Howard, God love you, but
he's fallen into the Rob Reiner spot of was on one of the greatest runs of all time, and now if you're in one of his movies, it's time to check if there's a toe tag on you.
Yeah, you're in a bad way.
Yeah.
So then all of that is leading to this, a big screen movie from the world of John Wick.
Yep.
That Lionsgate has their whole everything. They took all their chips and they put it on red.
Yep.
And they said, this is what it's going to be. And I don't feel great about this movie. I feel like the thing with John Wick, and it's hard, as a box office professional, you do have to separate your taste from what you think the public's taste is.
Yes.
And will they see this as anything more than a cheap knockoff and a cash-in on a very popular franchise that is on a break right now?
Mm-hmm.
And it, to me, and I wonder if the rest of the country feels this way, it does just feel like we're getting sold a bill of goods. We're getting sold a lackluster action movie starring a faded never was star.
Wow.
And 3 glimpses of Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, stuck in a closet. Yeah.
And that, to me, with all the other options, I mean, you have Sinners still in theaters.
A lot less.
But I'm just talking quality-wise.
Yep.
You have a very fun and back from the dead franchise, Final Destination, Bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
You have Lilo and Stitch, a movie that is very different than the animated movie, but kids are going crazy for. You've got a Mission Impossible movie that's holding very well.
It's holding, yeah, it's holding.
So
it's holding.
You have options here. And this to me feels like the epitome of crap.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, here is crap.
Okay.
That's what this feels like to me.
You. But remember, you've got to separate you.
But there are people like me in this world.
Okay.
And
that's scary, but
I know. It's horrifying. I mean, the world has gone to hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that there's people like me is one of the reasons for that.
Yeah.
But I think that there is, to me, an overwhelming stench of sweatiness, and we've seen this before, but better.
Okay. I mean, I think it comes down to what is the element of this that is exciting people to go? Because when you see a movie that is a hit, for the most part, there has to be something that is a true motivational factor. You know, I think a Jurassic Park movie.
It's the dinos.
It's the dinos, you know, even if the movie's mediocre. But is Ana De Armas as a action ballerina, is that an enticement? We're going to see. I'm kind of in the same boat where I don't think so in a big way. I think Keanu was John Wick, that would be it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you could fool people on opening weekend. You know, or not as much as you used to be able to, because people got phones. They got, I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, you see what I'm doing now. Holding up a phone, okay? And you see these guys here, little rectangle, and you don't think much of it. You tap and you type on this, and the whole world knows something that's in your head. So you go see Ballerina on Thursday night, and you take one of these out. And again, you got to watch on YouTube so you see what I'm holding up. I'm holding up a phone. On this device, someone could just tell everyone, hey, Keanu Reeves, John Wick is only in 3 scenes. He's in a closet. They must have filmed him in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Tap, 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 type, type, type. Everyone knows it. And you know, it's not like back in the day you could fool people on opening weekend, and it wouldn't be until the newspapers on like Monday started writing articles that you would learn what really was going on in a movie.
And then EW drops.
And then EW drops, and then it's over.
Yeah.
The charade's over. I still think, though, you'll get an opening weekend out of Keanu, John Wick is in this movie. People pre-buy tickets. They make their plans. So I think that is what this movie has going for it. And then if it's good, then people say it's a good action movie. So I think that's going to be this movie opening weekend. It really is more on how much do people want to see John Wick or think he's even in this? How much do they believe the lie, I guess?
Yeah, so...
oh, boy. Now, you're on a phone right now. You're looking at a phone.
Yeah.
And you're learning something.
Well, I went to Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And no critic score. And
so that is the thing. Lionsgate is holding it, saying that they don't want to spoil the surprises in this John Wick-averse. They want people to experience it together.
I got a bridge to sell you.
Yeah.
Well, actually, here we go, though.
Okay.
No, so I actually clicked into Ballerina, and it looks like the tomato meter says 77%.
Okay,
so the reviews are out now.
Reviews are out. Okay, so then they're letting people know. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's 77% is, and listen, we're not critics, and critics aren't everything, but, you know, they're less important than they've ever been, R.A.P. Ebert, but that's a good sign that this movie isn't at like a 40% and is in a disaster.
Yeah.
So we will see. There are a couple of other quick hits I just want to bring up in terms of opening wide this weekend. We quickly mentioned it right before we got on air, and I think we have to say its name. There's a movie called Dangerous Animals opening this weekend. It's an IFC Shudder release.
Okay.
Of course, IFC, you know, they ran the table in the pandemic. They were one of the big studios keeping the lights on summer 2020.
That's right.
So they got this movie. It's called Dangerous Animals. Jai Courtney is the star. It's a horror thriller. And I've seen this trailer. It is a bad guy who kidnaps women on a boat and then lowers them in a cage down to be eaten by sharks. Opens the cage and then, Bob's your uncle and you get eaten by a shark. Do we think that is a... it definitely is a new premise. I haven't heard... Can't remember a movie where a villain used sharks as his henchmen, other than like a James Bond type movie or an Austin Powers. But using sharks the way Saw uses head clamps. And
was there ever a serious movie, and by serious I mean a movie that wasn't taking a piss,
right, having a laugh,
that had sharks with lasers on their head? Or is that just a joke that was in The Simpsons or Austin Powers or one of those things? Is it one of those things that they actually was in a Bond movie and they made fun of, or that's just a joke that now I think actually was in a serious spy movie?
I think it was just in Austin Powers having a laugh. I think, but I can never confirm and never will, because I will never watch a pre-Pierce Brosnan Bond movie.
Okay.
I've seen the Timothy Dalton one in the 80s.
Yeah.
Beyond that, as we always say, that's our grandpa's.
Yeah. And you're
era.
a Dalton completist, so that's...
Yeah, I do have to see everything that he ever does. So I do have to watch the new season of 1823 that he's in. But I'm kind of intrigued by this idea of using sharks as your killing device.
We talk a lot about dinosaurs being a draw at the box office. Now, other than, the first Jaws, and I mean, that's the original blockbuster, really.
Right.
I mean, it's so huge.
Right.
It looms very large. But in general, shark movies do well.
Yeah.
Like when you look at the shark movie that Blake Lively did.
Yep.
That movie did well for what it was.
Definitely.
It was a surprise, sneaky hit.
Yep.
There was the movie that had Mandy Moore in it. It was like 47 Below or something, which wasn't a staggering hit, but it made good money for a pretty cheap-looking exploitation film about sharks.
Right. And then it depends, if you expand the definition of what is a shark, then you're bringing in, to just general shark-adjacent sea beasts. You've had Piranha, not Piranha 3D, not Piranha 3 Double D, which did not perform as well as it should have.
Yeah.
The first one was a hit. You've, of course, got what's the Jason Statham movie that they've done?
The Meg.
The Meg.
I mean, The Meg is a shark movie.
The Meg is a shark movie.
Yeah.
So, definitely, The Meg was huge. The second one was a hit. So, people do still want shark movies.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if this has gotten a huge amount of promotion, but I definitely did see the trailer. So, I think at the level of an IFC Shudder movie, it's going to have some general interest just by saying this guy uses sharks to kill people.
Yeah. And it's summertime, which is the height of shark season.
Yes.
At least thinking about sharks.
Well, when is Shark Week?
I don't know.
Yeah. But that's the height.
Well, I mean, I do think just generalized summer time is when you think about swimming the most.
Right.
And you think about what's the worst thing that could happen when you are going swimming. Of course, number one, being pantsed.
Yeah.
Being pantsed. Number one.
Then you're pantsed and...
also, I mean, maybe this, but, and you're by the suction drain and it sucks out your intestines, like what happened in one of the Final Destination movies, and also in
a Chuck Palahniuk story.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, but if you go with pantsed and a shark, you're in the ocean, someone having a laugh, taking a piss, pulls down the shorts, same time shark swims by.
Yeah. And you're always sort of bleeding a little bit.
The
scabs are always a little bit fresh. So then then the blood is in the water.
Oh, okay. So it's
totally relatable.
Yeah. What you said, definitely a lot of people are saying, just like me, Clayton, just like me. Okay. But yeah, that's a bad combo right there.
Yeah.
Being pranked by being pantsed, and then a shark swims by.
With all the scabs.
The scabs element is an interesting wrinkle that you're adding that I guess other people relate to.
I told you there's so many people out there like me, Pat.
Yeah. That if it were not for the pants, just blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But either way, people are thinking about sharks right now. Shark Week starts July 20th. So
so that is summer.
It is summer, but Dangerous Animals opens this Friday, so it will have no benefit from Shark Week.
Maybe it's an appetizer too. It's
not going to get any cross promotion. Okay. But yeah, I think that Jai Courtney means nothing for moviegoers, but I think he is someone who, other than box office fans, who know what a dud he has been at the box office and know that he failed in a Terminator movie. Mm-hmm. And was he also the one who failed in a Die Hard movie? Did he play Bruce Willis's son?
I think he was.
So was he 0 for 2 in terms of trying to take over a franchise? That's his big claim to fame?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And then he was in the Suicide Squad. So he did have that as a hit. But yeah, I think that's him. So he's a box office never was, but this is a good spot for him to be a low budget horror villain who feeds women to sharks. Like, I think this is his spot. You have to, sometimes it's late in life when you find where you're meant to be. He was never meant to be the lead of a hit Terminator movie, but I think he is meant to be low budget, sniveling villain, feeds, Hawaiian Tropics models to sharks.
So that was not Jai Courtney in Live Free or Die Hard.
Okay, that was one of the other guys who bombed in that time. Not Taylor Kitsch. It was someone of that ilk. 2000s, 2010s failed.
Oh, no. Good Day to Die Hard is the one.
Yeah.
And let's see who it is.
The anticipation is killing all of us. Is who played John McClane's
No, it was
son.
Jai Courtney.
It was Jai Courtney. I knew it. It was Jai Courtney.
Wow.
Yeah, so Jai Courtney, they tried to have him replace Bruce Willis in the Die Hard series and then to be the new lead in the Terminator series. Did not happen.
0 for 2.
That was not what he was meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
But IFC Midnight, feeding women to sharks, I think that's a good spot for Jai Courtney.
That is.
That's a good spot.
It might be where he's always wanted to be. You never know.
You never know, yeah. Yeah, so I think Dangerous Animals, we'll get into the predictions. I think it'll place somewhere. I think it'll make the board.
Make the board.
I think it can make the board. So we'll see. And then the last wide release, and we are gonna lance this engorge mailbag.
What could this be?
God, I'm about to not know the Venetian Scheme. What is the new Wes Anderson?
The Phoenician Scheme. That already opened.
It opened, but it goes wide this weekend.
Okay.
It goes wide. The Phoenician Scheme opens this weekend, and it did Baffa Art House
because everybody who wanted to see that movie saw it last weekend.
Well,
every intellectual who was still on that train saw it.
You say still on that train though, but Asteroid City got itself to 28 million. And I remember when that movie came out. This may have been Podcast Jesus's first appearance on the BO Boys. It was the weekend that the Jennifer Lawrence movie No Hard Feelings came out, but I think it was also the weekend that Asteroid City was going wide.
Really?
And we were predicting, would that be a breakout? It had Hanks, and it did okay. I think there is still a fervent Wes Anderson fan base.
He's good for what he's good for. I mean, I guess I'm.
There's a lot of disdain in that sentence.
But I guess I'm being rude, but it doesn't feel like he's going to have a later period Tarantino big box office, later period Scorsese big box office swing, right? Where both those directors had hits that were, talked about and did okay business, but then they reached a point where they became names that sell movies and make big box office.
I mean, Tarantino's second movie, though, made over 100 million domestic.
Yeah, okay, but what I'm saying is that in the sense of since Grand Budapest,
okay,
Wes Anderson hasn't made a movie that has made a ton at the box office. He is niche.
He is niche, but I guess there's a range to his niche. And do we think this movie, this Phoenician Scheme, starring Benicio del Toro, is going to be in the niche that could get as high as a Grand Budapest, 59 million domestic, Moonrise Kingdom, 45 million domestic?
No.
Or is it French Dispatch, 16 million?
Well, it's not French Dispatch because that came out during a sort of weird COVID-ish time.
Yeah, October 2021.
I think it's going to be Asteroid City.
Okay, so 20-something million dollars.
Asteroid City. And listen, for smaller movie theaters, the indie theaters, these movies are great. They sell so many lattes. They sell so many overpriced pastries.
Yeah. Lots of hard candies.
Yeah, so that is great for theatrical, that you have a guy like this that can make movies that make $20 million.
Right.
And bring people out to the theater. So I don't want to hold it against him in that sense. He does make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And he makes, the getting butts in the seats to the theater is something, and there's a specific group of people who will go see anything Wes Anderson does.
Yeah.
The general public does not give two tosses anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree in that this will not be. I don't think Phoenician Scheme is a breakout in the way that I thought.
I don't think it's an Oscar thing either, because he's not an Oscar guy.
Yeah, I mean, though he did win an Oscar.
He did and
a short film, and he did not show up. Yeah.
Which he shouldn't. Power move.
Yeah.
Because it's like when the sports team doesn't want to take the trophy before the actual championship.
Okay.
They don't want to touch it. They say, no, we're not touching that yet. We want the big trophy.
Sure, but when the press isn't there, they're all touching it.
Yeah, they're touching it.
Yeah. It's like getting a Gillian Anderson VHS movie. They're all touching it.
Yeah.
So, I agree. I'm a Wes Anderson guy. I'll see this in the theater. I don't think this is going to be the breakout. It seems like this is a bit more of a lark, and I think Benicio del Toro is obviously very famous and he's been in hits, but I don't think he's the star that's going to break out a Wes Anderson movie.
Mean, the actor getting the most press on this tour is Michael Cera, because Michael Cera is come back and people remembered how much they liked him.
Yeah. Hey, he was great in Barbie.
He's and
stole the show.
I don't think he's a guy. He's a guy that got oversaturated. In the late 2010s, I believe. You know,
all those movies, of course, the web series.
Yeah, and I don't think he's a guy that I don't think he's a guy that ever was hated, but I think he was a guy where enough for now. And he took a break, and he's coming back, and he did small movies, and he's really likable when he does interviews, and he's like an elder statesman at this point, which is very hard to fathom.
Yeah.
But if anybody's going to break out from this movie in the sense of, I remember how much I liked this guy, it's going to be Michael Cera.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean,
having not seen anything of this movie other than the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what the box office results are, because does it get the Michael Cera bump?
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. So let's...
Do you think if this movie does well, Naked Gun does well, the Meet the Parents movie that Ariana Grande could possibly do, which I'm rooting for because I think that's great to have a big star in a comedy vehicle, do they do a sequel to Superbad?
Okay.
Jonah Hill comes back. Michael Cera comes back. It's called Super Dads.
Super Dads.
And they are now dads.
And Ariana Grande's in it.
No.
Or does she have nothing to do with it? You're just saying comedies.
I'm saying comedies.
Got
I'm
it.
saying the fact that there's talk of a star as big as Ariana Grande coming off of Wicked doing a comedy next.
Right.
Or at least in the near future is a huge deal.
I mean, I think Super Bad to Super Dads gets made if Emma Stone signs on to do that. Because remember, she was
Would she be married? She would be married to Jonah Hill.
She'd be married to Jonah Hill. So I think
divorced from him. I mean, let's be honest. He'd be divorced.
Yeah. And it's just she appears in the first scene in court. She gets custody of the kids.
Or she drops him off. She drops the kids off for a weekend with him.
And she's like, don't kill them by accident. Yeah, and that's the movie. It could be, but we'll see if these comedies I don't think Phoenician Scheme, though, is going to be something that factors into the future of big theatrical comedy as much as The Naked Gun does. So let's get into this Engorge mailbag. We have a couple here. So we did bring this one up already. So this was Anna from the Stacks, Busboys. We did talk about
this. We talked about Busboys with Kirk.
Great.
We don't have to talk about that again.
Great. So that one has already been lanced. Let's see. We've got one from Jill, wannabe girl Jill. Now she sent this before the Pacers and Knicks series was over, but she did ask because she's talking about Timothy Chalamet's prominent investment in the New York Knicks NBA playoffs. It says, I am concerned because the nearest location to me that has held post-Oppenheimer IMAX 70mm screenings is the Indiana Science Center in Indianapolis. As it is, I have to drive over 9 hours round trip from out of state to attend screenings in this venue. I cannot justify traveling to any of the farther areas if this one is not an option. What is the risk of Chalamet denying this venue, Dune 3, in IMAX 70mm in retaliation for the Indiana Pacers being an obstacle or worse, a barrier to the Knicks championship aspirations? From Jill. So, of course, now the Indiana Pacers, they did knock the Knicks out of the playoffs.
In 6 games.
Timothy Chalamet, huge Knicks fan, was at every game. His girlfriend, Kendall Jenner, did post that she cannot get sex unless the Knicks win.
Okay.
That was a big, big post that everyone was talking about. Great post. Chalamet, apparently Chalamet denied sex to his partner if the Knicks were not winning. Will he deny the state of Indiana a Dune 3 IMAX 70mm showing because of what Indiana did to the Knicks? I don't think Jill is totally off base here. I think that is a possibility.
I guess you wonder his mentality, because during this series, I get that. The series is over, though, and they lost. So you have to be, is Timmy, and I'm hoping this is how he is he a guy who's like, all right, we got beat, and I want the team that beat us to win the whole thing, because then that means that we lost to the champion.
Okay.
Like, if they then lose to...
But does he still have a grudge against Indiana? That's the question. Whether they win or lose this finals, do you think he is going to deny a state a IMAX 70mm screening of Dune 3?
He might do it because of the bullshit invocation of the choking, of the famous Reggie Miller choke.
Yeah.
That only Reggie Miller could get away with.
Right.
This... I can't remember what his name is. Some no name.
Tyler Halliburton.
Yeah. Halliburton. How could I forget Halliburton? Wonder who his dad was. Right? Come on.
Okay.
Halliburton.
Right.
Halliburton.
Right. Yeah.
So he does this choke, and disrespectful. Right. So I think if he hadn't done the choke.
And Timmy's right there because he's courtside.
Yeah,
so
that was aimed
we're
at
upset
him.
about that choke sign, and we're just watching it on TV from our couches. I mean, Timmy is just right there.
And he sees that choke.
Yeah.
And I think that is the thing that's going to holds a grudge, it's because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I would hope that as a Knicks fan, I would say, yes, scorched earth. Don't allow any of your movies to play in the state of Indiana. But as a box office, in the business of box office and loves theaters, I would hope that he ignores the choke sign, ignores the state of Indiana and what they've done to his Knicks, and lets the movie play there, because every dollar helps these theaters, and so I do think that is where he'll land ultimately.
Here's the thing, though. Spike Lee's next movie is Crapple
TV Plus. It's not getting a theatrical release. A Denzel Washington starer, highest to lowest, is going straight to Crapple TV Plus. I mean,
that's a whole different conversation. But with that comes the power to not make that movie available in certain areas.
Oh, wow.
Blocking that movie from Indianapolis, I would do that.
Okay.
Because that doesn't matter to box office.
Right.
It's not helping any theaters.
Right.
The movie should be in theaters anyway. I would say Spike goes to A24.
Yeah.
Who are bungling another release.
Right.
Way to go, A24, you fucking bozos.
Wow.
And then goes to Crapple TV Plus and says, here are the areas which I do not want this movie to be available.
Right. And it's just, you turn it on and it's a black screen that comes up.
It says,
this
movie is not available in your area.
That's
blackout.
Right. I love that. That's a level of spite from Spike.
Yeah.
That also doesn't affect box office, so I'm all for that.
And you know what it would say? It would say, not available in this area because Spike Lee hates your Pacer ass.
Yes, that would be great. That would be the best thing that's ever been on Crapple TV Plus.
Yeah.
Is that notice that their movie is not available in your area.
And imagine the screenshots of that.
Mm-hmm.
LOL, Spike blocked me from watching his movie.
Right. That would be great. So we got an email from Tyler. Tyler asking about friendship. Your discussion about friendship led me to watching I Think You Should Leave on Netflix. So to recap, a movie was put in theaters. The B.O. Boys discussed it. I discovered something on Netflix that came out years ago. Would you look at that, Sarandos? Maybe you shouldn't try to destroy the cinema business. After all, thanks, Tyler. So imagine that. Movies get people to watch something on television because movies get attention.
Yeah.
I want to tie that into another email that we just got also about Netflix. So this is from Reed, wannabe old boy Reed.
Oh, hi, Reed.
He says, I know you're not the Streamo boys, but Netflix announced that part of Stranger Things 5 will premiere on Christmas. Netflix also has 2 NFL games on Christmas. Can I place a bet that Netflix crashes on Christmas? And then he says, also shouldn't be surprised that Karate Kid Legends underwhelmed. You've trained audience for years. Karate Kid material will be on Netflix when Karate Kid Legends premieres on Netflix in 4 months. I'm sure many people assume it's a Netflix original. Love the show.
Okay, so I mean, this is the Anthony D is for Disney. Dummy calling us dummies.
Yeah.
Which I like. I mean, I like it. I mean, I don't like to be called a dummy, but I like the
razz your audience.
Razz your audience a little bit. Wake them up. And I don't agree with that. If Karate Kid Legends was a great movie, people would rush out to see it.
Yeah,
hands down.
Yeah.
Friendship, that's the thing.
If it was Jaden Smith's first movie role in 15 years, and you were promising that not only is Jaden Smith in this movie, but he's going to talk about the slap in the middle of the movie, it would have done much better at the box office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that is part of it, is that he's doing a competition. He's doing a karate competition.
It's a slap fight.
Well, okay, so we're going in different directions. I was saying that he slaps somebody at the fight and gets disqualified.
Okay.
Right, and he has to find his way back. Or, yeah, you can make it he's in Dana White's slap fighting league, and that's an element of the Karate Kid now.
I think that's what it is. I think it's Jaden Smith. They should have had him return in this movie, and it's Karate Kid slap fights.
Okay.
And he's in one of those slap fighting tournaments where you just have to stand there and like stick your chin out, and the other guy winds up and slaps as hard as he can. It's like super boring, and it's insane that people watch that. But I do think Jaden Smith being in a slap fight based movie would be Bafa Bobo because of his backstory.
But I like that you tied these two movies in, because I texted you this a couple days ago about Friendship, is that it is a just feature length I Think You Should Leave sketch.
Yes.
Which is not a bad thing.
No.
And the idea that everybody's trained to stay home for these things, no. People like that show, like him, and wanted to see him on the big screen.
Yes, because they heard it was good.
They heard it was good.
Because they got a platform release and the buzz got out.
And they want to be able to say, I saw this movie in the theater.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who is like, oh man, have you seen I Think You Should Leave? Yeah, I did. And you know what? I saw Friendship in the theater too.
Right.
Like, that is a badge of honor now, to experience something outside of your home.
Right.
You know? As much as Ted Sarandos wants to keep us all inside and give us scurvy.
Right.
People want to experience things together. Mm-hmm. And that's a movie that people obviously have shown, despite A24's bungling of the release and platforming it, instead of doing what they did with Venetian Scheme, which is give New York, LA, Chicago,
right,
the first weekend, and then the next weekend blow it up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm okay with platforming in the sense of we get it first, and then the next weekend they blow it up.
You need it to be second weekend wide.
You'll
weekend
do
wide. One weekend. Listen,
one weekend for us.
Yeah.
So we
New York
say,
gets it
well,
first.
Guess what? We already saw it.
Yeah.
Because we need that. We pay enough rent.
Right.
So that, I think, is fine. So the fact that people are navigating this bungled release for Friendship means that people aren't staying at home and waiting. Mm-hmm. When they want to see something and they think it's going to be good and then they know it's good, they go see it.
So if the Karate Kid Legends really had been very much, this is Cobra Kai series, the movie, it could have done better, and no matter what, then people would have went back and watched that show.
Well, no, see, I mean, this is, let's not like shave this bean down in that Mickey Mouse Christmas special or whatever, where they're cutting the bean. You remember that? And they're cutting it into thin slices you can look through. That's what we'd be doing.
Yeah.
I think there was we said last weekend, this is a very hard IP to get right theatrically. They didn't do it, and that's why people didn't see it. Not because they could stay home and watch stuff on Netflix and wait.
Yeah, I agreed with that. So we've got Sean, the alcoholic.
Sean
has written in with a few things.
Hi, Sean.
First of all, he says, hey, guys. The subject, Tom's hair. While I agree that is very likely Tom's real hair, there is a chance he got a wig from Maury. Remember, Maury's wigs, R.I.P., never come off. So
he's talking about Tom Cruise in the biplane scene.
Yeah.
At the end of
Final Reckoning. Yeah. You know, I would love it. Those wigs don't come off. Maury's wigs, you jump in a pool, stays on.
Yeah.
So that would be great. If Tom Cruise was getting a wig, if he had a hair piece or a hair system, I think he's such a movie guy. He would want his hair piece to be from a fictional wig selling character in a movie. Mm-hmm. He would demand that. He would say, I need to have a wig that was a prop from another movie.
Yeah.
I think that is where he would stand. Let's see. And then we got another one from Sean. He said, in 1983, I was leaving my third or fourth viewing of Return of the Jedi when my dad pointed out Dwight Evans, right fielder from the Red Sox and my favorite player, just saw the same film in the same theater that we did. Now, did I see a movie with Dwight Evans? I say no. What say you, Pat? I stand with Clayton. Okay. So I'm just going to leave that there. This is the words of Sean the alcoholic, who did come to our Boston show, co-starring, of course, Kirk Minahan. And now I'm just going to leave it at that.
And he had
now Clayton.
Yeah.
This is your chance. Are you going to now take that, what Sean just said, that he had been in a movie theater, Dwight Evans didn't sit together, and he doesn't look at it as he saw a movie with Dwight Evans?
Well, no, okay. So, Sean, it's lovely for you, and I know you're always on my side. You helped me out during that live show. Great guy, great emailer.
Yeah.
But this is a different case because it would have been if Dwight had texted your dad beforehand and you talked in the lobby before the movie.
Okay.
And then agreed to meet after the movie to shoot a video
with Dwight Evans.
Right
fielder for the Red Sox in 1983.
Right? So then that's what happened here. So it's apples and oranges.
You know what? It's good. You could have taken that email where Sean the alcoholic was defending your actions, and you could have tried to use that to make a case.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, you just put yourself on the tracks and let yourself get run over, which is what you should be doing every week, every show for the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, listen.
Well, okay. So are you not going to? Because right now, Podcast Jesus is listening to what you're saying.
It's up to Podcast Jesus.
He's listening to you about it.
Until he absolves me, then yeah, I'm on the tracks.
You're on the tracks. Okay, great.
Of course.
So we've got an email from Wannabe Oh Boy Tim here. Subject Lilo and Stitch. Wannabe Oh Boy Tim here with crutches on the ground reporting. I broke my leg last week, and it still didn't stop me from catching the $1 billion baby that is Lilo and Stitch. My wife and I took my 6-year-old daughter and 4 of her friends to see Lilo and Stitch on Memorial Day Monday. Theater was completely sold out, minus the handicapped seats. I was there solo. The merch all sold out on Friday night. The crowd was in full Stitch gear when they showed up. Fans from 6 to 60 all holding their Stitch stuffies. This one's got more legs than me right now. Ohana means family, and that means no one gets left behind. And he sends us a picture of him of himself with his broken leg with a cast out.
Wow.
On the lounge chair, and you see his cast, and then you see the movie screen before the movie starts. So that is tremendous. This man, this wannabe oh boy, went out there with a broken effing leg to go see Lilo and Stitch, and he took 6 people. His wife, his daughter, and 4 friends.
He was a parent and guardian.
Parent, a guardian, and spouse, and partner. And one-legged man.
Yeah. So, again.
Incredible tale.
Anthony, D is for dummy, calling us dummies. D. Alessandro. This guy, Tim.
Wannabe oh boy Tim. Yep.
Went to Lilo and Stitch hobbled.
Yeah.
In pain. High on painkillers, let's be honest.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
High as a kite.
And this is something that will be an issue for a long time after this.
Yes, he's never kicking this.
But let's not think about that now. Let's think about what he did while he was on a increasingly worrying amount of painkillers.
Yep.
In charge of several children that were not his own.
Yeah, 4 that were not his own.
4 that were not his own.
Yeah.
And he could have said, hey, I'm too high.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this.
H&H. I'm hobbled and high.
We can wait for the D+ release.
Mm-hmm.
We can watch the cartoon.
Yep.
I can't go. I'm so fucking high right now.
So high.
Right?
My leg, it doesn't hurt because I'm so high.
I'm on like twice what was in Rush Limbaugh's system when he died.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But instead,
he's got Michael Jackson's doctor.
Yeah. Absolutely. So he's saying no.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason to see this movie in the theater. I'm not waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's safety be damned.
Yeah.
We're not waiting.
And I'm driving.
Yeah.
And I have one foot that I can't use, and I'm super high on painkillers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's because there was a movie at the theater that he and those children that were his and his spouse and those other children that were not his wanted to see in the theater together.
They could not wait for D+.
Yeah. that debunks the whole theory that people are trained to stay home.
Yeah. No, you have to have a movie. Now, that's the thing. Ballerina this weekend, I don't know if there is enough of a hook to get someone who is just out of surgery, who is on a just wild amount of painkillers that would choke a rock star, and get them to then drive a full van of people to see Ballerina. I don't know if there's enough of a hook there, but Lilo and Stitch had that hook. So thank you, Wannabe Oh Boy Tim, for what you did this weekend. And then we got one, Bring Her Back, from Wannabe Oh Boy Joe. So he says, boys, maybe I'm in the minority, and I really do respect the great Jeff D'Lo, but I thought the movie was absolutely bland. He went on his 3-minute rant on the Everything app X, which piqued my interest. I saw the movie and almost fell asleep twice. It's slow. It's gotten decent reviews, though, so maybe I'm singularly not a fan. Joe. So I guess the great Jeff D'Lo, who has been on our show, be on it again at some point, he gave this a good review. Joe went to see it because of that. Did not like the movie. Now, you haven't seen this movie, Bring Her Back,
No, but
yet.
you saw it.
I did. I saw it with a friend, with a Hollywood mover and shaker out in La La Land this weekend. We both enjoyed this movie a lot. I like Bring Her Back.
Okay. Do you think somebody could find it slow?
I think someone could find it slow. Possibly. I never did. But, it depends too on, we're talking about people's drug situations, and maybe you're on a lot of stimulants and then you don't take the stimulants before you go see the movie. And so everything seems slow to you. That could have been something that happened. And again, I don't want to cast all of our listeners as drug addicts.
But do you think that he's usually on greenies?
Yeah, he might have been on greenies and he ran out, and then he went to go see Bring Her Back. And so just in general, everything felt slow.
Yeah.
That could be the case. I mean, maybe he just thought the movie was slow. Maybe he's not addicted to greenies. But there is that possibility from this email. There is that possibility. So I think that's a good amount of getting through the mailbag for this episode. So are you ready to do a top 5?
Yes.
It is time to do a top 5 right now. And yeah, I mean, would you like to go first or second? Those are the two choices that we have at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to go first, but I am trying to access the numbers, and there's an all-internal...
I am also getting that server error right now.
All-internal server error.
So we may have to look at... it's been years since we've said this on our show, but are we going to Box Office Mojo?
Oh my... Is it even...
What is even happening on Box Office Mojo? What a disaster this site is.
Oh my gosh.
What an absolute disaster this site is.
It used
All right, I've got it up now. How about I'll go first, since I am now looking at last weekend's top 5.
Oh my gosh, this is a disaster. Yeah, okay.
All right, so number 1, I think is going to be Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
I think it will three-peat. And then I guess, would it owe money to Pat Riley? If Lilo and Stitch then puts out three-peat merch,
yes,
does Riley get money off of that? So I think it three-peats. Lilo and Stitch, I think it makes $35 million. It made $61 million last weekend. I think it makes high 30s. I think this is going to hold. Then number 2 will be Ballerina. I'm on the low end on this movie. I think like 29.
9, okay.
I hope to be wrong. I would love for this movie to open to 50 and just the box office is just on a tear. But I don't think people care about Ana De Armas in an action movie.
No.
So I think that's number 2. Then number 3 will be Final Reckoning. Probably in the high teens. And then, man, I think that Okay. I think that Bloodlines will be 4, and then Karate Kid Legends will be 5.
Okay.
I think that Legends made $20 million last weekend in the actuals, and I think that's going to plummet to like 8 or 9.
9.
Yeah, I think Legends are going to have like a 60 or 65% drop.
Okay.
So I'm going Bloodlines 4, Legends 5.
Okay. So I pretty much have the same top 5.
Okay.
I have the same top 5. I just don't see the excitement for Ballerina. I would love if it could overtake Lilo and Stitch, but you've got, like we've said, when we lanced the mailbag, you have incredibly high parents, partners, and guardians all in one, triple threat, and I mean threat, going to Lilo and Stitch, and that's going to continue. You know, and it is. I mean, there's a possibility it could be $1 billion baby. It's possible.
It's possible.
But I think that is going to be number 1 again. It will do the three-peat. Pat Riley will get his beak wet. And then number 2, 25 on Ballerina. I'm even lower.
Wow, even lower. Okay.
Yeah. You know, they're saying it could sneak past 30. That's like where the tracking is right now. I just don't see the excitement for this anywhere. Number 3 is going to be Mission Impossible. Number 4, I also agree. I think it's Bloodlines.
Yeah.
I think that's a thing. And then Karate Kid.
Yeah. So we don't have the, what is that, Bad Animals, the shark movie in there, Dangerous Animals.
But also Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back, do you think that has a great hold?
It could have a great hold, but it opened to 7.
Yeah. So the greatest hold will get it to 6.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess there's a world in which the buzz for that movie is so good that it holds exactly. It makes another 6-7 million, and then Karate Kid Legends falls so far.
I don't see that going
but that's
single
tough. That
digits.
I mean, I think Karate Kid Legends will be single digits. It made 20 last weekend, so it's gonna, a 50% drop is 10.
Yeah.
It's not gonna make 10, so it will be single digits. But even with that, Bring Her Back would have to almost increase in its second weekend to get ahead. And I don't think that's going to happen. But I think they will be close. Yeah. I think they will be close. And I definitely think Bloodlines is ahead of Karate Kid this weekend. So, yeah, it's going to be – I'm very curious to see where Ballerina shakes out. Because if Ballerina opens over 30, 35 – that is just the biggest sign that people are just going to the movies just for the hell of going to the movies.
Because, like I said, it does feel like one of the first movie. Maybe not because Thunderbolts, but like it does feel like very blatantly pandering. Here's crap for the trough.
Okay,
and just feast on it.
Feast on the crap.
Morons.
Yeah.
That's what Ballerina feels like.
Okay.
And we'll see if the morons feast.
Yeah.
And if they do, that's great.
That's great. So email us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. We love getting your emails, reading them, reading your predictions, your boots on the ground reporting, your cast on the ground reporting as we saw today, and of course, speculating on your possible drug habits. Email us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on social media @theboboyspod. Wannabe VP of Interns Christopher, killing it with the vertical clips across Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe to the Substack. Subscribe to the YouTube. We are YouTubers. Hey, guys. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And, listen to the next episode. We will be going over the results for Ballerina. It's going to be huge. That's all I got, Clayton.
Well, Pat, I finished.
Great.
And you've said it all.
Yeah.
Maybe too much.
Perhaps.
And there's nothing left to be said.
Okay, great.
Except for, until next time,
we'll smell you at the box office. Nailed it. Hey, guys.